Hi everybody, welcome back to another Relics of Hyrule video guide video, excuse me. This is about the Pictograph Box, or Pictobox, or P-Box, or the old PB if you want to call it. I don't know. Call it whatever you want, except late for dinner, because it doesn't eat. Anyway, you can find it in Bleak Coast Cave, which is southeast-ish of Winterhold. So you go Winterhold, and you go east, and you go south. So it's like east, mostly east, somewhat south on this big old chunky island right here. Now, we're going to go into Bleak Coast Cave. It is marked by a green fairy. Green fairies, of course, mark valuables. And, you know, unique items in that sense that aren't quite magic. They're not quite weapons, they're not quite armor, they are just valuables, which the Pictograph Box very much is. It is technically magic, but we're not going to split hairs. That's the entrance. I gotta turn around for a second there. Hello, Frost Troll. So obviously you'll have to deal with the Frost Troll, or just get past it. Oh my god, there's another one! Get out of my general area. Thank you. There's another one. Hello. Good night, sweet prince. Thank you. There's the Star Wars reference. There's a sword. Oh, hello again. Take care of you. Healing. Oh, it's already dead. Oh, fellow kitty cat. I'm sorry. Thanks for the 22 septums. Alright. I might have cleared all over. Find where I'm going. Thrill, as a man doesn't know where the thing he personally placed is. Just got oh my god. It's all good. Just got turned around. This is where you want to go, this little section right here. So you enter there. You go boop, ba-da-boop, 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 and it should be in this room. There's this novice conjurer, there's a satchel, there's some stuff in it, and the Pictograph box is right here. The idea is the conjurer was researching it, so there's the Pictograph box. So once again, novice conjurer, Pictograph box sitting on the ledge. Now, I did try to lock the physics. Now, I tried. There's a possibility that it got knocked over, but both the journal and the Pictograph box should be locked in place. The journal says this is a curious box to say the least. I think I can see sheets of parchment of some sort lodged within it, but I cannot remove them. I have tried manipulating the levers and gears and pulling them out by force, but to no avail. Wow. I have also tried magic, but any method of retrieving these ancient sheets is lost to time. So that's actually kind of a little bit of a hint. Ancient sheets is a hint to take it to the ancient enchanter. Now the Pictograph box looks like this. We can zoom in on it. It has a glass lens. It looks Dwemer. It has a viewfinder and a little, I guess, a flash, and then there's a slot at the top. Now we can't do anything with it. Doesn't do anything. So we have to take it to an ancient enchanter. One moment. Just gonna move her out of the way and take her coin purse and sword. Protectors from Artifacts of Ultima, fun fact. So let's pop over to, say, the midden. If the game would let me. Kind of froze for a second there. So we're gonna go midden. Obviously you should do this normally. Don't cheat unless you play the game that way, but this is not an instruction on what steps to use. Just find an ancient enchanter at some point. Now, you also need luminous stone. I have one luminous stone right here, and I also have some luminous ore. And I'm pretty sure you need 2 luminous ore to make 1 luminous stone. So we're gonna do a little fancy pants magic here. Way down at the bottom will be the Pictograph Box, because it's P. Pictograph Box. You need 2 luminous stone and 1 damaged Pictograph Box, and you'll get this fancy thing, which has a nice color-changing lens. So we're going to do some luminous stone shenanigans. Will be 7, 8, 2. Alright, so now we have enough luminous stone to improve the Pictograph Box. Pictograph Box, bam, yes. It is classified as a tool. Something else that you may have just noticed is that once you have the fully restored Pictograph Box, you can take paper and turn it into blank pictographs. And you'll need that. But don't worry, as long as you just have paper in your inventory, the Pictograph Box will automatically make paper. So, for instance, paper roll, not the weapon version, it has to be the miscellaneous item. The weapon version came from Wield Clutter, shameless plug, if you want to check that out. So we have our paper somewhere in here. Paper. There's the paper. As long as you have that in your inventory, the Pictograph Box will make blank pictographs from it. So if I drop all of these blank pictographs and use the Pictograph Box from my inventory, then it will make removed roll of paper, and it should say added Pictograph Box, or Pictograph stuff. Pictograph blank, pictographs blank. And you also saw in the upper left there, it said Pictograph Box can't find a focus. Now that means that the area that you're in does not have a pictograph. So you need to go somewhere that has a pictograph. For instance, the Fire Temple. Random choice, Fire Temple. I'm not going to list every single location that has a pictograph. Most locations do, but they have to be Relics of Hyrule locations. So you're not going to get a pictograph of the Midden or Solitude or something like that, because that is hundreds of locations. There's already over 100 pictographs in Relics of Hyrule, just of Relics of Hyrule locations. Some of them have a little bit of a condition, and you can get different pictographs depending on where you are. I'm not going to go over the exhaustive list. I would recommend checking out the Relics of Hyrule Wiki at Mirahez if you want to check that out for more information. I may circle back and make another video about tricky pictographs, but I'm also working on making them a little more reliable. So, say you're in a Relics of Hyrule location like the Fire Temple. You use your Pictograph Box, and it will take a blank pictograph and give you a pictograph of your location. So, here's the Fire Temple. Hang on. You have to open it. It's a book. And there's a picture of the Fire Temple. Now, this is a little misleading because I'm standing in the area that the pictograph was taken in, and that's not necessarily where you'll find it or what you'll actually take a picture of. So, for instance, let's go to the Water Temple. It won't always be the location that you're physically standing in. That would be insanely difficult to accomplish. So Vince, I'm standing right here. Let's do Picto again. And there we go. Pictograph number 52, Water Temple. And we'll check that out. See, that is not the location that I'm currently standing in. That's further into the temple. So in some ways, the Pictograph Box can be sort of a hint system. If you enter an area, you've never been there before, you use the Pictograph Box, it'll show you another area in the dungeon, and there's a chance it'll show you something that you haven't seen yet. And it will help you along the way. But every Relics of Hyrule location has a pictograph assigned to it. Now, as I say that, there are some locations that don't. The archive doesn't, and if there's a location that's new, it won't have it. So like the Minish dungeons and the Shadow Pockets don't have them as of the recording of this video, but that will change. So if you're in a location and you can't get a focus from the pictograph, there's a possibility that it doesn't have one yet, or it's a little fiddly. For instance, the Ruptured Towers are a location that have a little bit of a fiddliness to the pictographs that you get from them. And this is something that I'm working on to make it a little less fiddly. So let's say I'm standing here. This is outside. Oh. This is the Ruptured Towers, which is one of the end game areas of the mod. Spoilers. So if I use the Pictograph Box here, cannot find a focus. So I am standing outside of one of the dungeons, however I can't find a focus here. So there is a specific spot that you have to stand in order to get those foci, and it's not always obvious, which is why the Eye of Truth is super useful, because you can use the Eye of Truth and it should reveal a spot where you can stand. Now, this is something that I'm working on, like I said, so it might not be 100%, it might not be flawless, but this is a great example right here. There's the pictograph symbol, so if you use the Eye of Truth and you see this, that is telling you that this is roughly where you should stand in order to take the pictograph that you need. So let's try the Pictograph Box again, see what it gives us. There we go, Gilt Exterior. So Gilt is that area right there, and it should have given us what we need. Gilt Exterior. There we go. Yep, that's what we wanted. So now, what about this one right up here? So once again, we use our Eye of Truth to see where we're supposed to stand for this location. And it looks like it's right there. So we should stand roughly in this spot, use our Pictograph Box, and it should give us this one. There we go. Pictograph Doubt. Obviously, in inside, it's more reliable. In exterior locations, that's where it's a little fiddly. But it should be okay. Now, you may have noticed that while I was looking at these, there's legendary pictographs. These are found throughout Skyrim in little pictograph cache boxes. There's a great example of that in the Talo Neg Shrine. I'll show you what they look like. That is another video that I might do, is going through all the legendary pictographs. So here is the Talo Neg Shrine, and I'll show you what the pictograph caches look like. There's one right there. So that is the cache. First name Johnny. This is roughly what they look like. Now, their appearance might update at some point, but they have a black lid and a gold base, and there will be a legendary pictograph inside. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you can take a picture with the Pictograph box, and you'll get the associated legendary pictograph. Now, what are the pictographs used for? What is the point? I'm glad you asked. It's for the archive. Specifically, the Hall of Memories. I did cover the Hall of Memories in the archive video, at least I hope I did. Hall of Memories right here. So you enter the archive, you have this circle right here, you have the Hall of Devotion, which is gold, you have the Hall of Literature, which is magenta, and then the Hall of Memories, which is like silver. And this is where you go to drop off the pictographs. There is a place that you can put the physical pictographs, but as long as you have them in your inventory, you'll activate displays for various locations throughout Skyrim. So, for instance, I'll do the temples. There are several different sub-sectors. There's the ruins, the temples, the shrines, the ruptured sector, and the minor sector. Let's do ruptured, actually, because that will be more obvious and clear, because we just got a few for that. Alright. These information... Oh yeah, this is the display. So you activate these crystals. It'll tell you how many known displays there are. If nothing appears, that means you don't have the proper things for them. So we're just gonna... I don't know what that did. That's a 1. So there's 1 in that. Bing. Pop. Boop. Oh. So that one back there said 2 out of 9. So it was supposed to put something on display. I'm not sure what exactly. We can try the temple sector really quick, because it seems like it's misbehaving. Alright, let's go to the temple sector. Alright, we're in the temple sector, so just gotta run around and activate the crystals. That one didn't work. Ah, there we go. There's the fire temple. So as you can see, once you have the actual pictograph, it will open up and show you a nice little interactive display. There's nothing in these chests, you can't open them. So that's the idea, that's what the pictographs are used for. So that's really all I have for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Check out the Discord. The Discord is the best place to go for information. And check out the Wiki. There's another pictograph for the display activated by the pictograph that we had for the Water Temple. So yeah, check out the Wiki at Mirahez. The fandom Wiki is no longer maintained. Please do not use the fandom Wiki. Please use the Mirahez Wiki, and check out the Discord. That's all I have for the Pictograph box. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and be sure to drink your Ovaltine.